Hi all, hope you're doing well. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy with your families during this time of coronavirus, COVID-19 emergency. And I hope you are observing your social distancing and stay at home orders. Please stay safe out there. But today I want to talk to us about the 2020 census. Many of you have reached out with regards to how to complete the census, how the questions look like, and also some of you have also reached out with regards to the census ID because some of you did not receive the letters that look like this in the back and the front. And again, be mindful that the letter comes to the resident at your address, not to you specifically, or the head of household or whoever lives at the house. So the letter is not addressed to anyone in particular. So that is something you should be looking out for. And so this is my own letter, but I want to make sure that you are aware of what it looks like. And then inside the envelope, there's a blue sheet with all the information. It comes with the census ID that you will need to complete your census. So this is something you will need, but don't worry if you don't have the census ID, you never received the letter or you misplaced it, you can still complete your census using your address. So we're going to start filling out the census form, so bear with me. So the first thing you want to do is go to my2020census.gov. Once you log in to the website, the first thing you will see is a blue start questionnaire icon that you need to click on. So we start by clicking on it, and then the first question that comes up is where can I find my 12-digit census ID? Remember, this is what they're asking for, the 12-digit census ID on the letter you received. So so that is what you will do. You will enter your census ID here. And so I will not enter my whole census ID for my own security purpose. But again, this is if you have your census ID. If you do not, then you can look under the login icon here. It says if you don't have a census ID, click here. So that is what you will click. If you don't have the census ID, you never received the letter, you will put in your address. So let's go with that process just in case you never received it. But it's the same process if you put in the 12-digit census ID or if you put in your address. So let's go with not having the address. So the next question is they want to know if you are living in the United States, Puerto Rico, or somewhere else as of April 1st. So since we're in the United States, so you will click on a US state or District of Columbia. So the first one. After you click on that, you go next. So the next thing you want to do is to put in your address. So you put in your address in this box. That is where you live, what city you live in, the state you live in, of course. So I'm putting this information based on my own address, but for you, you will put in your own address. So after you put in your address, then you go next, and then they will want to verify that the address you submitted or you're about to submit is correct. You verify it's correct, then you click on submit. This is we're going with not having the census ID. So if you did have the census ID, on the first page you put in your census ID. This screen that I'm looking at now is where this page will the website will bring you to. So this is our starting point if you have your census ID. But since we started with the address, it just verifies your address and brings you to the same starting point. So this is where we're all starting. So the first thing is to put the name, your name. On here, your first name. If you have a middle name, put it there. And then your last name. Then you put in your phone number, of course. Then you go next. So if you put in your name, if you have a middle name, your phone number, you click on next. And what would happen next is to start the question about household. Who are the people living at that address? Click on the green start button on the right, and then it brings us to this question that asks of how many people are living at the address that you provided or at the address linked to your census code. So if it's only you, of course you put one. If two of you, you and your spouse, you and your child, or if there are three or four, regardless of how many people live in the house, please put that number in. For this training purpose, I'll put 2. Then we go next. Then the next question is, for each person living there, they want to know their names. And then so for the first person living there is Census Taker Carolina, that is you, and then you, the person filling out the form, and then the next person is whoever is living with you. For this training, we have 2 people, so the next person will be okay. So we have the next person living there. Their name is there, so we go next. And then the next question is to verify that there's no other additional person that maybe lives there that we forgot to list. So they don't want to miss anyone staying at that address. So is there any other additional person, any other person living at that address? Yes or no. If there's no other person, so you click on next or no, and then you go next. The next thing is they want to know the address, the house, the apartment or mobile home that is at 122 not Elm Street in this case, but your address basically. Who is it owned by you or someone else, or is it some house that is owned by you that you already paid off, there's no mortgage, or is it somewhere you're renting, or is it somewhere you're just living without paying rent? So you choose which one is more appropriate to you. If you're renting, you click on rent. If you own it and you're paying mortgage, you click on the first one. If you own it, you already paid it off, you don't have a mortgage, you click on the second one. So in this case, we will go for renting. And then you go next. So once you go next, they will list everybody living there at the address that you provided that is being rented. Census Taker Carolina, Census Taker Spouse, in this case, in this training. So you will choose who rents the house. Is it the Census Taker Carolina or both of you? So if you live with your spouse, you're both on the lease, you put both your names. If it's only you on the lease, you put yours. You check yours. So in this case, I'll check both. We're both renting, we're both living there, and then you click next. So the next question that will come up is basically about each individual that you listed. So you click on the start to start on the first person, in this case you. Then they want to know if you're male or female, so you choose which one corresponds to you, and then you go next. Then they want to know your date of birth. You choose the month, the day, and the year. And the year of birth. So you can choose the right date, the right month, the right year. It will tell you how old you are. Down there is calculated automatically. Then you go next. Then they want to know if you are of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. If you are, then you want to check which one corresponds to you. And in this box here, you put in what country of origin you are from. If not, in my case, I'll say no. In your case, choose the one that is appropriate for you. If you're of Congolese origin, Bhutanese, Burmese, Nepali, Sudanese, Syrian, then you probably choose the same thing here and go next. And then what is your race? They want to know if you're white. How do you consider yourself? White, German, Irish, English, Italian, Lebanese, Egyptian, or you're black, African American, American Indian. In my case, in this case, I'll choose black African American, and then you would choose what is your origin. So I will put my origin here, and then you go to the next one. So the next question is about the second person that you listed. Remember, if you list 4 people, each one of them will come up here, and you will have to answer the same question that I just answered for each individual listed at that address. And again, they want to know the relationship between you who's completed the census and the other person in the household. In this case, it's my opposite sex spouse, wife. Then I will click on the first box, and then you can choose which one is appropriate for you. If they are your brother, your sister, your daughter, your sons, your children, go ahead and check the corresponding box, and then keep going. What is their sex? They are female. You choose which one is correspondent to them, and then you go to the date of birth. At the same time, same thing. Birth date. You choose which one is their birthday based on their information either on their ID or driver's license, and it tells you how old they are. And then we go next. After you choose their birth date, again the same question about their origin, if they're Hispanic or not. If they're not, you choose the corresponding box. Then you go to the next one, which is asking about their race. Are they white, black, or American Indian, Chinese, all the way down the list? Choose the one that is appropriate for you. And then if in this case, if I choose black African American, I will put country of origin down there in the box, and then takes you to the next page. And again, this is seamless, this is easy going. And then we come to the final questions, which you click on the start, and then it asks you to make sure that everybody's counted. People staying that are living at that address are not living elsewhere. They don't have another address elsewhere. People you listed. So in this case, I listed myself, yourself, and your spouse, or whoever you listed on your census completion. If they live elsewhere, for example, if children live with their grandparents for most of the year and they have an address over there, or they live with their mom, if it's a separated family. So making sure that the people you list here do not list elsewhere. If they do not list elsewhere, you just say none of the above live at any other address. So which is what this question is asking you. Do any of the following people live or stay somewhere else other than the address you provided? You say no, then you go to the next, which is the final step, which is to submit your questionnaire. So if you're sure you've completed everything, if you're not sure, you can go back to edit questionnaire just to verify, make sure everything is right. If you're certain everything you entered, all information is accurate, you just need to click submit. So once you click on submit, this is what you will get. Census will have this information thanking you for completing the census with the address and the confirmation number, making sure that everything you send is recorded here. And again, the information we're providing is just for data purpose, is to determine how many people represent us and how much money from the federal government will be coming into our community for programs that support our well-being, our family, our children, our integration. So once you submit, you will get the confirmation number, and then you're done. And friends, I want to make sure that this is very helpful. Please let me know if you have any other questions. But again, this is meant to help us go through the census completion while we're at home during social distancing, dealing with this coronavirus pandemic. But I hope it's been helpful. Please share widely, share with your community, share with your friends. If they have any questions, feel free to reach out. I hope you stay safe, and please, let's get counted and take care.